before we even like get to the main part of the episode, as I was like planning out what I wanted to ask, I was like, oh yeah, it is Women's History Month. So like I didn't plan this for Women's History Month, but it just like the business thing is to act like I planned for this, but no, we
Okay, it worked out perfectly.
yeah, it worked out perfectly. But this would be a testament to why you just support Black women just year round and not just
That
during
part.
Women's History Month.
See,
So
that's a
That
word.
part.
that's what we're gonna do with this. But I want to welcome the listeners back. It's been a long hiatus. Honestly, ain't even been that long. It's been a month. I need to give myself some grace.
Yeah,
But
Mhm.
welcoming folks back to the Banquet Hall. It's a pleasure to be back on the mic. Yeah, I needed a month. I just needed time to just breathe and like podcasting. As y'all know now, podcasting is tough. It's especially being consistent with the podcast. It takes some
Yeah.
effort.
Mhm.
So especially like yeah, I just needed a break. It's important to take breaks with any passion that folks do. So if anything, folks starting to listen to this episode, I want the first kind of take home to be the importance of taking breaks when you need it, stepping back when you need it, because the podcast's gonna be there. But we here now, and we're celebrating Women's History Month with the very first episode of March. I have the Jadas on the call. So before I even get to anything, just for the listener's sake, of course, a video will be easier, but we have Jada and we have Jay, right? Is that what we're going with
Yeah.
for the podcast?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. So we have Black Beauty near you, Jay, Jada, Green Line Planner. Somebody's gonna get confused during the episode anyway. They just got to figure it out. But that should be a reason. That should be a reason for folks to go to YouTube, subscribe to Banquet Hall Pods, so you can just see who's talking and don't even got to guess which Jada we talking about. But for the audio listeners,
Yeah.
we will do our best to make sure y'all get to know the voices on the call. So we got that out the way, but just in general, I know we talked a little bit before we got started, but how are y'all doing today? It's Friday. It's raining in Southern California. Jada, what's the weather like in your location?
It's supposed to be raining, but I think it's fine. It's just gloomy. So it's pretty cold, but it's cool.
Oh, but cool. How's y'all Friday going so far?
It's going good. I mean, workday just ended, so amen. Like it's
No, for
going
real.
Amen
better
to
now.
that.
So
Yeah, amen to that.
So yeah, I'm happy it's the weekend.
Seriously, I'm ecstatic that it's the weekend because I was literally counting down every second. Like, can you hurry up, please?
Okay, I felt that.
I feel that for sure. I feel like it comes a part of every week where I'm like, damn, like, is it Friday yet? And it'd be like Tuesday morning. It's like not even close to
For
Friday.
real? Man, this
Just
week was
started.
stretching for real. This week was stretching.
This week is stretching, this month is stretching, but you know,
I'm so like, how did it get March? Like, that's my thing. It's going by so fast for me.
yeah, I mean it is March, my birthday month coming up next month and whatnot. So time is just flying.
Okay.
I don't think I noticed
Uh,
about y'all. When are y'all birthdays? What's y'all signs?
Well, fun fact.
Yeah.
My birthday is October 14th. I'm a Libra.
Okay.
And I am October 5th, so I'm also a Libra.
Okay, Libra gang.
Right.
Rock with the Libras around here. I mean, Taurus is still the number one sign, but I will allow the Libras to have a moment.
I'll give it to you because my moon is Taurus. So,
Okay.
I
For
don't
the
really
video
know too much.
listeners, oh, it's all good. For the video listeners, we got a nice little shake from the fro when you shouted out your Taurus moon.
Yes.
But before we get too far in the podcast, as some of y'all know, Jada and Jay were both on Banquet Hall earlier up in November. So first, if y'all didn't check out those episodes, I'm gonna need y'all to hit the pause button real quick. Go back to the first few episodes of the Banquet Hall, listen to what they have to say there, because we kind of fast forward and past a lot of the pleasantries with what y'all do. And I want to make sure folks have some of that background. So hit the pause button, listen to those episodes and come back. But to get started, I want to know what's new since November. We talk about time flying. It's been 4 months since y'all been on the Banquet Hall, and it doesn't feel that long. But y'all were two of my first three guests. So what's new in general with y'all? Let's start with Jada. What's new on your end of the world?
What's new? Well, I moved. I'm in my new apartment. Yay.
Yes.
And that was like such a huge accomplishment for me because I've been trying to move out by myself since I graduated from UCSD. And I finally accomplished that goal after about a year and a half. So big girl things, adulting in action. So yeah, I'm really just living it up and loving it. And I mean, hence adulting in action. That actually came out since the last time that I was on Banquet Hall. So yeah, that's been going well. I have been consistent, surprise, surprise, because knowing me, it's hard, especially with two podcasts. But yeah, I've been consistent. So I'm loving it. I'm loving life, y'all.
We loving it. And so let's talk a little bit more about adulting in action. Like you mentioned, when you're on the podcast, we talked a little bit about the podcast that you used to have, and you mentioned on that podcast episode that you were starting up adulting in action. So I was very excited once I saw the first episode post. I've tapped into each episode, and you're doing your thing. Like, I love it. I think that when you first was talking about adulting in action, I was like, what can I learn about adulting from someone younger than me? But you really are able to give those nuggets of wisdom from just your experiences, your story. It's real personable. So I just want to affirm all that and let you talk a little bit about why people should tune into adulting in action.
Thank you so much. Those words really just make me feel so good, honestly, about it, because it's really a space for me to release what I'm feeling. And that's why it is so personal, because it's almost like a journal for me. So while I'm speaking on the podcast, I a lot of times talk to myself. And I know Jada, you said that you really like that because we have the same name, so it's funny. But but basically, like, really, it's just turned into a lot of my journey with my spirituality now, especially like I didn't even know that I was going to be praying at the end of almost every episode, but it turned into that, just because it's something that I need. It's something that fuels me. And I just feel like it's a really great way to be very intimate with my listeners. And so it kind of leaves them feeling really good and feeling like, dang, like I really just had a full conversation and we wrapped it up with an amen. Like, it just feels really, really good. So yeah, Adulting in Action has really changed my life in ways that I didn't even expect it to. And I have way more listeners than I thought I was going to have too, and that are actually consistent. So I'm just here for all the blessings, all the love, all the support. So yeah, thank you for that.
No, we love that. We love that. And I can attest to the prayer being like, it makes it a really intimate podcast. I remember, I think the first time I was listening to it, I was driving to LA. Then we got to the end. He was like, let me pray for you. I was like, oh shit. Like, let me
Okay.
accept these blessings real quick while I'm on the 405.
Right. Yes, definitely. When you threw that prayer in at the end, I'm like, okay, like this is what we doing. Let's go. And it's funny because Kylie, you said you was driving to LA and I was driving back to San Diego when I first listened. And I just loved it. Like, you really got real and raw. And like I said, I think it's meant to be because, we got the same name. So I'm listening to this, I'm receiving it. I'm like, yeah, like I hear you, like you calling me out, like da 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 da. So I love it. And yeah, I'm glad you kept that going too. You didn't, shy away from it. It's definitely necessary. So if you feel it, feel free to express it. Don't hold back. But yeah, I love it. I
Thank
feel like
you.
it flows greatly, and I love listening.
Thank you. Because that's honestly something that I was always very like insecure about doing, was praying in front of other people. And even though like I'm technically by myself while I'm doing it, I still know that it's going out to people that's going to be listening. So even just doing it, I was like, wow, it's new for me. Like, okay, I'm growing in my faith. I'm growing in my,
Right.
like in my outward faith. And so I'm no longer like trying to hide that. And I'm being very expressive with my love for God now. And that's been like a really life-changing thing too.
And that's why it's in action. Like, it's all a process. I feel like the growth shows episode to episode in the middle of the episode. So a shout out to Adulting in Action listeners. After y'all tap in with this episode, make sure you head on over to the Adulting in Action feed. And yeah, just hear what Jada has to say. Switching over to Jay, I know that one of the main things that's on your plate right now is the Black Beauty Near You rebrand. So I want you to talk about that. But what else is going on in the world of Jay?
Yeah, that. Yes, the rebrand of Black Beauty Near You is coming along, like towards mid-February is when things were starting to wrap up. And so I'm like, okay, bet. I'm talking to Kimura, that's who I'm doing the rebrand with. And she's like, yeah, we're wrapping things up. And she helped me put things together to even like roll out the rebrand. So I'm like, all right, good, we're ready to go. And so yeah, the website is launching this month. I can give y'all the date. Like, why not? If you're listening, congratulations. The launch date is going to be March 25th. So I'm
Okay.
so excited about that. Like,
Write
there's a
that down.
date.
Write
Like,
that down.
Right,
yeah,
I'm writing that down.
there's a date. It's in my notes. It's happening. Like, the way things are scheduled, it has to be March 25th. Like, you know? And so I've been really intentional about setting like clear goals, dates, for example, and quantities, because it really helps hold myself accountable. Because I have a lot of ideas, and it's great to write them down. It's good to have them as goals, but I need to start, actually putting them in stone so I can get them done. And so, yeah, that's been a really exciting process. Yeah, on the episode that we just dropped for Deep today, I was mentioning how like Black Beauty Near You was my baby, and it was hard, well, it was difficult, but I realized that how overprotective I am of Black Beauty Near You. And, sometimes, and it makes sense, that's my baby. Like, we've been writing for some years now. And so, but I realized that I do have to be open-minded, because the process of this rebrand has went great. Like, a lot of ideas were brought to me that, I couldn't have come up with on my own. And although, maybe I could have done all this on my own, but it would have not went this smoothly. So definitely expanding my mind and being open has been a great help during this process. So yeah, I'm super excited for the rebrand. It's just gonna just make everything come together just so nicely. There's consistency now. So I'm excited, and I feel like it's gonna make everybody's experience and interaction with Black Beauty Near You so much easier. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, right now I just announced probably like an hour ago that everything on the site is 50% off. Like, everything, not up to, not kind of 50, like everything is 50% off. And I will be adding some more items. That's just on me, because I gotta go through inventory. But yeah, everything on the site is 50% off, and they're shipping everywhere in the US. So if you want something, get it now, because the website will close March 19th to prepare for the launch. So yeah, that's all rebrand stuff. That's what's been on my mind outside of my actual work. And then yeah, other than that, 4D has been a great experience doing that podcast with Jada, Cam, and Destiny. It's new, but it was like us turning something we were already doing and just making it live in public. And so that's been a really nice experience. And it kind of I like how it holds us accountable to not only be consistent with the podcast, but just consistent with our relationship with each other and checking in and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on over this way. Super excited for my growth, for my friends' growth, and everything, family, just all of us. I like being surrounded by all these people who are doing great things. So yeah.
Beautifully stated. And she's not lying. I just typed in blackbeautynearyou.com right on the homepage. Got the rebrand sale going. Some edge control
Yes.
here for $4, some satin do-rag for $4. So y'all better get on that.
Hold on, I need to pull up.
Okay, I might throw what are those things called? You have the do-rags. I might throw a wave cap in there, because I got a few extra ones. So
Okay.
if you want one, just put it in the little comments or something. I'll throw that in there.
And so this sale goes through the 19th, correct? Or when does the sale end?
Yeah, it ends March 19th. So you have until March 19th. That's a Sunday, 11:59 p.m. to get it all out. And then after that, website is shut down until the launch.
Until the launch. So Banquet Hall listeners, this episode should drop on Monday. So y'all got a full week. Listen to this episode. And as y'all listen to this part right now, like, y'all can multitask. So go ahead, throw the headphones on, go to blackbeautynearyou.com and just buy something. There's something on here that you need, or something that you can get for your homie, like, for sure. I wanted to ask you a quick question about the rebrand before we get into 4 Deep. So and this is right off the dome, so sorry to put you on the spot, but what have you learned about your brand through this rebrand?
Wow, yeah. Let me think about that. No, definitely learned a lot about how there really needs to be intention behind everything. Like, down to the color scheme and the fonts and the way that your website is laid out and the way you communicate with your audience. I mean, knowing directly who my audience is, like I knew like, okay, yeah, college students, but no, you need to get specific. Who exactly? Like we literally sat there and broke down like what my ideal customer is, gave the person a name, hairstyle, a major, hobbies, all that, like really breaking down who is my target audience. And that's been really helpful. And I'm also taking this weekly course through VSEDC. It's called the CEO series. It's a free program, FREE. And like it's virtual too. Well, it's hybrid. Some meetings are hybrid, but it's virtual. It's stationed in LA. So if you are in LA County, you get more free resources compared to me since I'm in San Diego. But yeah, and through that, I mean, they're breaking down like everything too, like as far as like starting up a business, things you need to have together, things you need to think about. And that's also when I've been able to like just really like once you narrow down on those things, it helps like when it comes to marketing and when it comes to advertising and all that good stuff. You know how to attract your brand, you know what things to say, like what kind of content to push out, because you understand who you're catering to and like what they need. So I have learned a lot about how important it is to know exactly who my audience is. And it's okay to be specific. Like we can still be inclusive, but you need to get specific. It can't be general or too broad, because that's it's too many, it's just too broad. You have to get specific so you can know who you're catering to. So that has been, I would say, one of the biggest takeaways from this process that I was not thinking about before.
Beautiful. And then, sorry, one more thing, because you also dropped a Black Beauty Near You newsletter. So how can folks get on that newsletter?
Yes. So you can go to my Instagram and go to Black Beauty Near You on Instagram, and the link in the bio, it'll say join the newsletter. And when you click that, it'll give you a pop-up to sign up. And as soon as you sign up, you're good. And if you sign up and you try to go to the link again, it's not going to pop up again because you already signed up. So don't even worry about it. And so, yeah, once you do that, you're in, and you'll get a welcome email to confirm that you got in. So no need to, worry about that. And yeah, the newsletter is going to be good. It's not just going to be like, oh, like this just job. Like, no, I want to make it more of a community-based newsletter. And so I want to make sure that I'm also dropping tips in there when it comes to hair care, even just tips when it comes to being a student at a PWI, because it's hard out here. And there's so many people I'm connected to, like even y'all, that I could bring in as resources on the newsletter, just connecting folks with. And I feel like instead of just like posting on Instagram about it, like catering to that community, people who are actually here, like they signed up because they care, they want to listen, they want all those resources. And so bringing those resources to them through that, medium, I'm excited for. So yeah, it's going to be good. So if you ain't signed up now, just go ahead and sign up, click the link in Black Beauty Near You's bio and get signed up. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of goodies on the way.
Awesome. Jada, you had froze for a second. I was like, is she looking intently? I was like, oh, she's not even blinking. I was like, okay, she froze.
Yeah, my connection was unstable for a little minute. I gotta check with Cox Wi-Fi and say, yo, what's up?
Okay.
I was like, man, she was just staring intently because your face was just like this the whole time. I was like,
yes, it was perfect.
Really... it was the most attentive face she could have frozen on, honestly. So good job with that.
I was hoping I wasn't looking wild.
Nah, you good. It was like a little glam shot. Like you was intent. Like your face was centered in the camera. It really looked like you was paying attention. I honestly didn't notice until I was like, dang, she ain't blinked in a minute.
Oh, please. Oh my gosh.
Funny. Oh man.
But Jay mentioned that y'all recently started the 4D pod. So we're half of 4D pod is here right now. Maybe in a future Banquet Hall episode, we'll get the whole fourth, all four of y'all on. But starting with Jada, I'm curious, what have you learned about like yourself through 4D pod so far? I know this is something that you said that y'all kind of just did and make it, you made it into a podcast, but with the whole act of putting together a podcast, what have you learned so far about that, or what has it meant for you?
Wow. So this one is really like an interesting thing because splitting up the responsibility was amazing and also very hard at the same time because like I know how I like things and I had to trust that everybody else had their own things to bring to the table that could, make it pop. And so I couldn't just rely on myself. I had to equally rely on everyone else as well. And so kind of like relinquishing some of the creative control was a really hard thing. But I'm so glad because it took a lot of weight off my shoulders and a lot of, expectation that I put on myself that did not need to be there. So I love having their help because, oh man, I couldn't do it without them. So everybody, runs a social media account that we have. And so that is amazing in itself. They all like pitch in wherever they can. And I just really, really, really love that. And so we all take on this load evenly. And so I truly, truly do appreciate everyone like taking it as serious as we, are taking it and really just, putting our best foot forward, making sure that we're coming to the meetings, making sure that we're, actually trying to get vulnerable and deeper every episode. And so that's also another thing that I really, really appreciate about all the women that's on there because it's hard. It's really hard to be vulnerable and especially knowing how many people are going to be listening to it. So I mean, I personally, I didn't have too much of a hard time opening up. I'm pretty much an open person, but I love seeing the evolution of certain people open up more and more and getting more comfortable speaking and sharing more about their lives and themselves. So I really do, appreciate everything and even just the supporters, like the people that have given us feedback. It's wild, like better than I've ever imagined, like we're creating a space where they feel like they're in the room with us. And that's something that I couldn't have even asked for, like a better response, because that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted them to feel like, yo, you're a part of this conversation, just like I'm sitting right next to Jay or Cam or Desiree. Like we're all in this together. And so I really wanted to make sure that feel was coming across, and it is. So that's good.
No, absolutely. It comes across like listening to the episode. I feel like I'm just chilling with the homegirls. Like, what y'all talking about today? And I will say that I love the marketing of it too. Like the monthly dumps. Like y'all did a February dump of what each of y'all are doing throughout the month. I thought that was cool, just because it really adds to the fact that it's four of y'all individually working on this podcast as a team, because you have the day in the life. Like I click on the story and maybe it's Cam walking through Howard, maybe it's Jay talking about Black Beauty near you. So really love what y'all are doing so far. Really proud of all the work that's gone to the podcast. But Jay, same question for you. Like, what have you learned about yourself through the podcast thus far, or just what the experience is like? Like this is your first podcast that you're a host on.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's honestly, it's still surreal. Like when Jada was talking about listeners and feedback, I was just like, wow, like, yeah, like you're so right. We're really doing this right now. So it's definitely wild to think about. But I've learned that it's not that difficult for me to, just talk about stuff, whether it be personal and things of that sort. When you're in that space of like you already feel comfortable, you don't feel like you're going to be judged for it. It just encourages and makes me feel more comfortable with talking about that stuff. Just listening back, I'm like, yeah, like I was really able to, just like let it flow and not be hesitant about, what I'm saying, and feel like I'm in a safe space and all that. So yeah, definitely I guess that just goes into like learning that, it's really about like the space that you're in and the people you're surrounded with how comfortable you can be, like just even like outside of it, just being a podcast, just like how comfortable I can be just being myself and, speaking from the heart and saying, how I feel without any hesitation. That's been really nice. And so I appreciate that community within 4D and including the listeners and stuff. That's been really nice. And so, yeah, it was crazy because when we announced it, I think my grandma had seen it and she commented on one of our posts and she was like, yeah, like, I love this. Y'all are young. Y'all need to, get this stuff out and talk about it. And, a lot of people, they're not going to be, just addressing those taboo topics, get it out. And I'm like, yeah, like, you get it. And it just feels so good to just get that support, from all mediums. It's not just like, oh, like my friends are like, yeah, like we love it. Like it's all different generations, egging this on and supporting us. And so I love that. And I'm glad that, we're getting that support. It just, affirms that, we're doing something right. And something that's, what's the word? That's helping people out, to say the least. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all are making an impact and people want to hear what y'all have to say. So 3 episodes down for y'all and can't wait to see what the rest of the podcast has in store. So once again, finish this podcast episode, throw on Adults in Action. Once you catch up on Adults in Action, go on over to 4D Pod. And yeah, just keep the fun going. I think that it's really important for us as young Black folks to really have a voice in media, like being able to share our stories, be able to control our own narratives, to talk about the things that we want to talk about. Because of course anybody can turn on the news, anybody can go on Twitter, but we have so much power in our voices and our stories. So that's why podcasting is so important, because it's like, yeah, like you could talk about anything in the world right now, but it's like, what is important to me? What happened in my day to day? And what I love about a podcast like y'all's, it's like, it's not just y'all like, oh, this is my success story, success story, success story. Nah, this is my success story wrapped up in the real like trials and tribulations that went into that success story, things that I'm still working on, those roses, buds, and thorns, things that I'm scared about, hopeful for. So yeah, y'all gotta tap into 4D Pod. I don't want to throw out too many of the nuggets on this podcast. Want to make sure y'all tune into their pod, like, subscribe, share, all that. So where can folks find 4D Pod on social media? What's that?
I should know this. Oh no, it's a 4D Pod. It's spelled out, so FOURDEEPPOD, and that's on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Perfect. So now let's go ahead and get into the main course while we're here today. Business Besties, stealing that from Jada as she coined it before we started recording. But in those initial episodes of the Banquet Hall, I talked to both y'all about starting y'all's businesses. And what was really unique is that y'all's stories kind of intertwine with each other because y'all were supportive of each other's businesses. And I don't think you can tell the story of either of y'all's businesses without including the other person. So I just wanted to invite y'all back, as we talked about on those original podcasts, to talk about what that journey is like, especially as it relates to supporting a friend's business and what it means to have like-minded people as you're coming into yourself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. But first, let's go ahead and rewind back to the UCSD days when y'all was youngins on campus in La Jolla, still figuring out what it means to be a Triton, trying to find out where the Black people are at. How did y'all cross paths at UC San Diego?
It was really, yeah, it was the Black Resource Center. Shout out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, wow, let me figure out how to streamline this story so I'm not just rambling. Okay. So got to UCSD, blah, blah, blah. Jordan, one of our mutual friends, she was very adamant about me going to the BSU meetings, doing this. She always be like, all right, Jada, where you at? And so I started going, and then fast forward, was loving the community, and I love to get involved. Been since I couldn't even tell you. And so I applied to be an intern at the Black Resource Center, and Jada was there, Jordan was there, Taylor was there, Malik was there. And we all got in and became interns. And that's really how I would say me and Jada's bond grew already. Like, first of all, we already had the same name. And then our birthdays were around the same time. Like, I'm like, girl, like, we locked in, like, you're not going to work. And so it was really great. And then Yeah, we had a lot of like bonding activities, like sleepovers, going out to eat, you know, whatever, sitting and just talking for hours or whatever. And I feel like that's really how our relationship grew, was through that internship. And we put in an effort to foster our relationship even outside of internship things. And so, yeah, I love it. And yeah, I'll let Jada like finish because I don't want to say, you know, how the between our business, I'll let you say that part. But yeah, that's pretty much how, you know, we got to know each other.
It was funny because I remember hearing Taylor say your name, and I'm like, who is this? I was like, I said, I don't know her. And she was like, no, she's a second year. I was like, I don't know her. I'm like, she said, well, you need to meet her. I was like, I'm going to. Obviously, she's gonna be an intern. So it was so funny because I really did not know who she was, like, at all. But I would hear her name. I mean, you know, it's my name, but still, I would hear her name, and I'm like, okay, so there's another Jada around, and I'm like, I need to meet her because she has to be awesome. All Jadas are awesome. And so when we met up, yeah, it was definitely like I loved her energy, loved her vibe. And I even said this on 4 Deep. I had a girl crush on every single person that is on that podcast. So when I met Jade, I was like, oh my gosh, she is so beautiful. And so yeah, just really gravitated towards her. Loved how she was really like outspoken, and she was very entrepreneur mindset like me. And so I recognized that in her. And Malik, that was also an intern there, he did a thing called the shop. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. So he did the shop, and Jay was doing beauty supplies products, and she had her table right next to me. I was by the sink and I was braiding hair. And so I seen, you know, how we were both really just out there hustling, grinding, and really catering to our community in that way. And I just loved how we both loved bringing people together, and being a part of that growth in for everyone. And so I started asking her like, "Hey girl, what do you think about this?" And "Hey girl, what do you think about that?" And I like, she's really like my guinea pig for everything. She's literally like my trial. So I just send stuff to her. I just run a whole bunch of, you know, ideas by her, and unnaturally we had to do that with the internship period because we had to work together on a lot of different events. And then we were also a part of BSU together. So that was, we were just always in like the same spaces and always in like leadership roles together. So it was awesome to have another leader right next to me. And so we definitely bonded on that. And that was something that I could definitely trust in, and having, you know, another like-minded person like me that also just had my best interests at heart. And so like having all of that around was really good. I knew she wasn't gonna lie to me. She was gonna tell me what I needed to hear. Okay. Whether it was good, bad, ugly, good, you know, like whatever it was, she was not going to let me fall, and she was going to tell me like what I needed to hear, no matter how it sounded. But you know, I knew that everything came with love, and vice versa. She knew the same thing for me. So yeah, that's really how it got like that, you know.
Yes, vice versa for sure. Like we literally be like, okay, like we need to sit down and talk about this right now. Tell me how it is. Tell me how it looks. And like Jada was saying, we'll be honest with each other because we might have to hit each other with a look. I don't know. But you know, it will always be constructive criticism if anything. And we got some good ideas. So 8 times out of 10, it's like a yeah, like your mind is going right now. Yes, do this. And so yeah, to this day, like it's always good tapping in with one another and just seeing like, okay, what do you think about this? And yeah, like I mean, we're in the BRC on the computer talking about like this is like green line planner, not even 0.1 version. This is like -5 version green line planner. We're talking about, okay, how is this gonna look? Da, 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 da. And just yeah, like so many ideas led up to like where we are now, even before we even launched like green line planner or Black Beauty Near You, and all this other stuff. So many things came up to this moment. So like you said, kind of like it's you know, the planning process or the growing process of our businesses and what we have going on now cannot be, you know, discussed, especially in depth without mentioning one another, because we were there like seeing it. And I know another thing too that really stood out with me with Jada, if she said she was going to do something, it's going to get done. Okay. And she is not going to procrastinate on it. She's going to, of course, you know, give herself some time to plan it, but everything that she said she was going to do, she got it done. I mean, to this day, she said, okay, y'all, we're going to have a podcast. Y'all, you want to join or not? Because I'm going to do this. So if y'all want to, but it's going to happen. And so I love that. And it is very, very motivating and inspiring because me, like I said, them deadlines, I'll be trying to blur the lines, but I can't. And so it's been very influential and to me, especially to, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And that also goes hand in hand with with my friends and my colleagues and stuff, I make sure to say I'm going to do it. So, cause I know they're going to hold me accountable. And so, yeah, this journey has been great. And, thank God, just surrounding me and us, I think I can speak for us too, with just great people in our lives that keep us motivated and uplifted outside of business, just just keep us going. So yeah, that's kind of how how we got here, and it's been up. So
Yeah, I would not want to grow Green Line Planner any other way but with Jada. So it's really been an amazing journey. Even just seeing all the publications that she's had and all the different steps to Black Beauty near you. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing. I think that this relaunch is going to be just the next step that's going to explode you, because you have really been so fearless with the business and you really put yourself out there. And that's one thing that I need to work on a little bit more. I love how Jada puts herself out there because I sometimes talk myself out of it. I say I'm gonna do stuff and I do it, but putting myself out there and actually really promoting myself, that's one thing that I am not as consistent with. And I love the way that Jada does it. So yeah, we both be learning from each other about certain things, inspiration. And so that's another thing. Even just in general, having a somebody there that you can go to, even if it's just one person, have that person, because it's so freeing and so securing, because it feels like you can take greater risk when you have people behind you. No matter what type of business I start, Jay's gonna be the first one there, standing in line.
Okay.
So I know that.
Website.
Right. So it's even if I don't have anybody else, I at least I know I have Jay. So it's that type of security that I love having within this friendship. And she, come on now, she brings, do you know how many of my clients are her friends? Do you know how many of my followers are her followers? She literally she flocks people to my page. And I absolutely love that. I love how you support your people, and I love how you really you screaming from the mountaintops, and you were so proud about everything. And she's such a resource hub, and she connects people with people. And I just absolutely love that. Your networking skills, girl, on 10. And my little shy behind, I be in the back, I don't want to talk to nobody, but I have to. And I see why, cause Jay, you were on top of it, and she connected me with Akia, and that girl's awesome. And so just really opening my mouth, putting myself out there and talking more and sharing what I do is something that I'm learning from Jay. And I absolutely adore that.
That means a lot. Cause I be feeling I like to call internally, I call myself the plug, because I really be having all the resources, but it's just good to know that they're useful and making some kind of impact, and I also mentioned this on episode 3, podcast of 4 Deep, that y'all need to go listen to after this. I mentioned how I'm glad that I'm gonna support my friends regardless, but the feeling to have the things that they do, I actually, they're actually great, they be doing a thing when they do them, it just makes it 10 times easier to support. So yeah, I'm gonna be yeah, y'all need to go get, you're struggling with your finances, Jada has a whole book for you. It's ready and it's not expensive. You just spent $20 on Starbucks last week. I think you got it. My best friend, she does hair, and my other best friend sells bundles, and they're not bad bundles, or it's not she don't know how to do hair. These are great things to support. So yeah, I was gonna scream from the mountaintops anyway, but now I got the megaphone with me because I just, the greatness is there. And I think going to UCSD too, I seen how detrimental it can be, when people just simply don't know about resources. And it's hard to get the word out there about resources. It's not even the people know about them and they just don't take advantage. I'll see people who've been at UCSD all 4 years, and it's their first time, or they never heard of, the things that are going on. It's just like, wow. So you really have to be an advocate for, all good things that you know about, all good things that you do 24/7. Do not stop screaming about it to the rooftops. And on that note too, I remember I think it was seeing something about like Tyler the Creator, like how to this day, like he promotes his album or his stuff. Like everybody knows who Tyler the Creator is, but just because you post something one time does not mean that everybody's gonna see it. I am good for reminding folks, I'm a shout her. I'm not putting her on blast, but my little cousin, she does nails. And she has a nail page, bomb job. But I have to tell her she has to be more consistent when it comes to posting. Like you can post on your feed, that's cool. And you can post on your story, but you post that set once on your story. How many viewers did you get? Was that the same amount of viewers did your viewers match your follower count? No? Okay, so everybody didn't see it. So you need to post it again, just in case they missed it that day. They only had 24 hours. And so, just really, like Jada said, putting yourself out there. I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna put my folks out there because I don't know everything. I'm not specialized in everything, but 9 times out of 10, I know somebody who is. And I don't want to leave nobody hanging. And so, yeah, I'm gonna put my folks on. And like I said, y'all all do great things. So y'all make it easy to put y'all on. So it's great.
Yeah, I think that's an important piece that you made, because I think that we live in a society where we're so interconnected and there's so many people doing so many different things, and it's impossible to support everyone. So it's really easy when you see that, this person's like really dedicated to this. They're being consistent with this. They're passionate about this. Like they're putting themselves into the work that they're doing. And so it's like, okay, I know you're serious, so I'm going to invest in you. And I think that type of out loud support is one of the highest forms of investment. Just because like that one time where you reshare somebody's post could be the reason they keep their business going. Like I know a lot of business owners where it's like, yeah, I was thinking about giving up this yesterday, but then you gave me this affirmation and now I'm keep going. So, and also like Jada, you had mentioned like needing to be better, more consistent and putting yourself out there. I think you do an excellent job too. Like I know that we always can improve ourselves and do better, but I see your green line planner all the time on my timeline. Even when I'm not like opening up, scrolling, like I see something about you moving, something about financial planning. So even if I'm not actively engaged with the content, I just open my story and you budget. I'm like, shit, I need to budget. Like I haven't looked at my budget lately. So I think you're doing what you need to do for sure. Like I think that type of, and you talked about this on episode 3, which I guess we're just gonna keep plugging for the rest of the episode. But you talked about like that influencer pathway and how like a lot of what you can do with your business and Greenline Planner is just be able to be in that influencing sphere where it's like, okay, you see this Black girl in her 20s doing her thing with budgeting, planning out her finances, moving out by yourself, documenting it through a podcast, starting another podcast. Like I think we all deserve pats on the back and want to make sure that we affirm that in each other as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that thing that you said about like having that one message or that one reshare to really like keep you in the game is so real. There's been so many times when I've been like down and out with Greenline Planner and I just wanted to stop. But literally like somebody would just pop up and be like, thank you so much. And your videos help me. And I'm like, you're watching. Like, it's a really good reminder and people really need that. So like if you're ever like, for anybody that's listening or watching, like if you feel strongly about a business and you really do watch them every day, please tell that person, because you don't know how they're feeling behind the scenes. They might look great making the content, but really show the support. And like it really takes like 2 seconds to just send an encouraging message to them. So definitely like do that. I make sure to do that with with the people that I support, just letting them know like, hey, I love your content. I'm watching, I'm here, and I'm active. And so because I know exactly how it makes me feel. And so it's like those are the things that really, really do keep me going. It's the small things for real. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think especially in the creative spaces too, like we're all podcasters on this call, like because at some point I feel like there comes every time in a podcaster's career where it's like, all right, I'm just talking to myself or I'm just talking with my friends on this call. Is anybody even listening to this? Do y'all give a fuck about what we saying? Because I could just call the homie and do this over the phone. We don't got to do this podcast editing thing. So that feedback is very, very important. So yeah, and y'all have both given me feedback on the podcast too, so I thank y'all for that. And of course, just being on the podcast means it's weight in gold. I wanted to, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but well, actually, first I want to talk about the fact that y'all are like-minded business people, and if y'all were to give advice to people as they're seeking out friends to trust, not necessarily as a business partner, but as like a business confidant, like people who are going to be able to help them grow their business and figure out their pathway. What do y'all suggest for people to look for in individuals that are going to be supporting their passions?
I would say similar values, because not everybody in business has similar values, because, that you could be just, really out there for yourself, for the money. And then some might actually be for the community and really trying to help. So really just making sure that whoever you are, like, trusting to share certain ideas before they even in the actual final stage, that's a really, really sensitive time, because it's make or break for your ideas, for your self-confidence, for a lot of things. So whenever you are sharing these things, when they're in seed form, you do not want to be just giving that away to any and everybody. So being able to have Jay, I knew that we had very similar values, because, I mean, we're coming into the BRC as interns. So that alone, you have to have a really strong value system in order to be working there as an intern. And they definitely like cultivate that space. And so we're in that cultivation together, and I've seen how she moved, and really just like watching how she treats herself and her businesses and other people was a huge thing for me. And so I felt like I could really trust her with not only, like my own personal secrets and like vulnerability pieces, but also, hey, what do you think about this business idea? And I knew that she wasn't going to be judgmental about it, and it was going to be a safe space.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Like, definitely having the same values, because I know just it depends on what you're doing and what your goals are. Because if like Jada was the type of person where she doesn't get personal on social media, she just posts about her business, boom, 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 then I wouldn't be able to, to relate as much, or I wouldn't feel as comfortable to open up with Black Beauty Near You like I do. Because although we are like businesswomen and we get things done, we make sure everybody knows what's going on. We're not afraid to hop on and post on our story us going out having fun, or us getting real and talk about, like, this what went on today, this what I'm looking like today, y'all. But that's not the point. Like, we have that same thing. We like to get real, but so it's just, you have to have, like you said, have somebody with the same values. And also do not have a yes man. Like, it's okay, like, now, to feed your ego, yes, find your yes man at that time when it's launched. Yeah, go find the people who's gonna be, I love it. But as for someone who's, you want to be in your corner, when you want to come to them with an idea, you want some real honest opinion, you need someone who's going to tell it like it is. And for one, you do have to have a relationship with that person, so that there's no animosity or jealousy or ill intent behind any feedback that's given, because that needs to be set from the jump. Because if that, even if a sliver of that is there, it's not going to go well, because you're going to be viewing everything from a skewed perspective. So definitely have a relationship with that person where this person is not out to get me, this person is not here to do me wrong. So however I come to them with anything, or whatever feedback they give me, is coming from a genuine place. And I feel like that's what we have. And so I know that any feedback that's given, it's is gonna be real. And we're and vice versa, and we're pretty much just looking out for each other. That's really all it is. And sometimes I think I know personally, me, sometimes I kind of hesitate on saying certain things because I'm afraid of how it's going to come out. I'm like, I hope this don't come out wrong. But like, Jada understands it. Like, there probably have been some things where I was like, dang, I really hope like this comes across the right way. And she got it. Like, she understood. Like, it wasn't anything, weird. And so I'm like, just having somebody who gets you, y'all have to be on, a similar accord to be able to go to each other. And you have to have that trust be there, that friendship be there for sure. And yeah, so someone who's going to tell it to you like it is, regardless. And someone who, when it is great, they're gonna hype you up too. Then I just be like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, continue doing it. Nah, we be like, yes, sending voice messages. I love this. Yes. So definitely like have your own hype person too within that relationship, because it's so important.
Right. I remember going, what was I? I was at work and I went to the bathroom just so I could send her a voice message.
Yes. He said, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I was like, I can't wait. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom whispering, yes, girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta love the business besties. Yeah, y'all are wonderful. I think that it's really easy to do a podcast like this with people who obviously care about each other. Because I think there's some people who think they're business besties, and it's like, nah, you just share their posts every now and then. You're not really supporting them. But I
Call them
think
out.
that right, I got a list.
Okay. No
But
shade,
no,
no
like
tea.
no shade, no tea. I just finished all the tea in my cup. We good. But no, I think that just in general, when it comes to supporting people out loud, it's deeper than like, oh, good job. It's like, okay, that gives me nothing. I hate a good job ass person. It's like you said, Jay, like when it's relevant, like, yeah, hype me up, but don't just hit me with a good job. Like, what's good about it? Like, what did you like about it? What did you take from it? What could I improve on? What do you like to see more of? There's just so much better feedback that people can give than good job or, oh, I like this. Like, okay, what do you like about it? Because especially I think with something as complex as a business, it's like, oh, Jada, I like Green Line Planner. It's like, okay, like what? I do a lot with Green Line Planner. I like Black Beauty Near You. Okay, like what do you like about Black Beauty Near You?
Yeah, which part? Like, is it the stickers? Is it the logo? Because I put a lot of thought in there. I need to know what you like.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it even goes back to the conversation about rebranding earlier with Black Beauty Near You. There's a lot that goes into a brand in general. There's a lot that goes into marketing, like figuring out your target audience, who you're targeting. Because if your target audience is just like, oh, good job, it's like, okay, but are you even part of the target audience? Like, there's so much that goes into it, and that's where our stories are important, which is why like podcasts exist, like having a platform to talk about those stories. So it's like, no, like don't just, oh, I like the color of your logo. Like, nah, do you know why this is the color scheme? Do you know why the letters look like this? Do you know why these products are here? So if I could give another take home to anybody listening to this, is be very actionable and or intentional with the feedback that you give people. Because even like looking at myself as a poet, there's sometimes when people will read like a poetry book, it's like, oh, like your book was good. It's like, okay, like there was 50 poems in the book. they all was good. All right, cool. But like, what was good about them? Like, I don't know. I feel like we're much more talented than just good for our people. So yeah, if you give them feedback, be thorough with the feedback.
Yeah. And speaking on that, go ahead, Jay. Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. Speaking on that, I was looking at if you're watching on YouTube. Well, if you're not watching on YouTube, just go to YouTube so you can see. But the background on your background, Kyler, I was looking. I'm like, okay, I seen the IV for 4, but then I seen the 4th. Like whoever did that, was that you? Whoever it was,
was that you?
Fire! Like whoever did that is fire. I just wanted to say that.
No, I've been staring at that. That's my big bro. I literally just made this Zoom background right before we got on the call, but my big brother, he designed the 4th Kyler. Thank you, slight flex. He designed the 4th Kyler logo. Famed the designers, his Instagram or something like that. But it's my big brother, and he's trying to figure out this graphic design. So we're taking classes and whatnot, and he gives discounts to Black people. So if you're Black, I mean, even if you're not Black, listen to this, you can still get a logo. But if you Black, especially the youth, he's trying to put young Black folks on too. So if you need a logo, need a secondary logo, just need some graphics made for a flyer or something, my big bro got you, and happy to plug anybody. But yeah, I love the 4th thing on here. And I don't know, it's just cool in the background. Because like you said, it kind of looks like just some lines at first, but then you start looking at it, it's like, nah, I like the 4th.
Yeah.
That's dope. No, yeah, I've been looking at it the entire time. I'm like, man. But I was gonna say, just be intentional about the brands that you support. You know, because social media will have you following any and everybody just because your homie follow it or whoever. But really be intentional and know why that you're supporting each brand, because there are a lot of different intentions put behind brands. And so you want to make sure that you actually rock with the intentions that are going behind each brand. And so, you know, you don't want to have somebody pull up and be like, oh, why do you support this? And you're like, right. So just make sure that you know. And yeah, just rock with the ones that you truly rocking with.
Exactly. Yeah. And there shouldn't be any excuses either, because I think that's where, like, as I'm choosing the brands that I support and the brands that I'm sharing with people, it's like, all right, we was talking all this in 2020 about like taking our money out of these big businesses and we want to buy black, shop black. All right, shop these people. These are some people you was looking for financial advice. Go to Greenline Planner. You was looking for black beauty products. We got Black Beauty near you. What is the excuse now? Because as y'all know, people, it's no issue if I could just run to Target and drop $100 real quick. But when my friend is like, oh, like, got a sale on my website, trying to support, it's like, I ain't really got it right now, you know, like trying to buy this sneaker drop coming out soon. Like, I don't know if I got it. Meanwhile, they got they caramel frappuccino. Like it's just like, y'all, like we gotta be more intentional about what we support. And so I really appreciate you, Jada, for sharing that about being intentional about the brands that we're choosing, because we have the power. Like, we have the power to support people. Like, is anybody going to be an overnight millionaire based off of one share? No, but you never know who will see that share, or you never know what that one comment will do to the algorithm. And like you said, just to the person behind the business and their psyche to move forward.
Right.
Facts. Yeah.
But as we close out this episode, I just want to ask if there's anything else that's on y'all's heart that you want to talk about, anything on y'all's mind, questions y'all have for each other while we in this virtual space.
I would think what I'm going to say. And I'm a big advocate for this, is to, whatever's on your mind, just do it. Like, all that planning process, you've been planning for months now, bro. Like, you're not going to know what's perfect for your business, for your new venture or whatever, until you do it. So just do it. Just start. Whatever it looks like right now, just make that Instagram, make that post, you know, just get it going, and all of that stuff will come naturally. All that stuff you're trying to figure out, it will come together. It will come to you, but you have to start, because just sitting on it is not going to get you anywhere. Like, it's really not, period, point blank. So you got to just do it. And if you need help, if you need support, you know, find that, you know, make sure you have your mission, your goal, your passion has to be there. Because trust me, there has been days when I've been like, okay, but people can get beauty supply products from anywhere, like, you know, but it's deeper than that. And so having that passion about what you do and just keeping that on your forefront, letting that motivate you, and just do it. You got to just do it. And if you're hesitant, just think back about that passion, what's going to keep you going, and get it done. And your supporters and your true followers are going to come, and they're going to follow you. And once you continue to be genuine in what you're doing, and your audience is going to basically, you know, rock with whatever you do, because they're going to eventually believe in you and trust what you're doing. Like, I know if Jada says she drops something, it's like, hey, this is going to get you right. Like, this is going to get you right for when you move. Like, I'm already like, oh, bet, like, I'm going to be set once I look at this, or once I get this together, because we have done stuff already that she's gained my trust. And so once you gain your trust with your audience, keep it real, keep it genuine, be authentic, you know, they're gonna rock with you with whatever you do. You know, but don't get wild, okay? But yeah, they're gonna rock with you for the most part. And so yeah, you just got to get out there and do it, and don't be scared.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Jay's saying, like, don't worry about what other people are going to think. That's what holds a lot of people back. I don't know if anyone's going to support. Well, you don't know unless you try. And I know it sounds really cliche, like we only got one life, but it's real. Like, you, like, have fun with this life. Like, so what? Just try it. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? A no, or you lose some money? You be wasting money anyway. So like, what like literally, what is the worst that can happen when it comes down to like putting yourself out there and sharing your ideas, and or starting that business and really like taking it off from that planning process? We let fear get in the way too often, and I'm trying to tell y'all, like, put that fear down and pick up fun, and because it's really all about just having fun with it, and change is going to come. Like, Jay's going through a rebrand with Black Beauty near you. Do you know how many times I changed my logo? Okay, like I started off as green, now I'm purple. So like there's so many different changes and things that you're going to learn along the way. You cannot prepare for everything before you launch. You have to launch in order to know certain things. So approach it with an open mind and have fun with it and stay motivated to definitely keep your why, because that is what's going to be able to keep you going during those hard days. And also really just like, you have to believe it in order for other people to believe in it. Because if you don't believe in it, people are going to feel that, and then they're not going to support you as hard as you need to be supporting yourself first. And so like I even said this in the Adulting in Action podcast with Akia, this last one, that you really have to believe in yourself before anybody else does. I am the one that told myself, hey, I'm a budget coach, before anybody else respected me as a budget coach. So you have to really claim it for yourself first before anybody else is going to see you and respect you and support you as that. So that's my main thing. So yeah, like it starts here, y'all. It starts here.
Yes. And I'm gonna steal a quote from Jada. I forget what episode it was. But just like you say, from what episode it was from Adulting in Action, the other podcast that y'all need to go listen to. You said just now, you said put down fear and pick up fun, but also pick up faith. Okay. And you kind of touched on that just now when you were talking, like you need to have faith in yourself, faith in, whatever higher power you believe in. But I'm gonna always make sure to have faith in myself, faith in God, that I'm doing the right thing. And so put that fear away. Don't even think about that. We don't do that over here, okay? And so I just wanted to drop that because you were speaking it, but I'm like, you literally said this, like, so it was perfect. It went perfectly.
So many wonderful business nuggets on this episode. Just kind of reiterating and highlighting some of what was just said. I think one is just the iterative process of forming a business. Like, it's never going to be perfect the first time around. Like Jada was saying, like, you're going to have to get it out there, get it started, get your minimum viable product, your MVP, which Akeem and I talked about on Banquet Hall as well. Like, you get out there, you're going to iterate it, you're going to get some feedback, you're going to iterate it again. Like, and you can look at any big brand, any big business. Like, you look at their first logo versus where they are now. Like, what were some of the branding principles that they have versus where they are now? Like, there's always going to be change in what you're doing. And then, like you said, just get out there. I think there's a lot of people, and I especially want to talk to the people where I feel like a lot of people have been silenced a lot in their life, where they too often are like, oh, like, that's dumb, or you don't know what you're talking about. And I think you hear that enough growing up, and maybe you'll never share an idea or go forward with that business plan because so many people have silenced you. Like you said, just get out there, see what happens, like figure out how you can start in the most minimal form and just grow from there, because I think that's where business besties and having people to bounce things off is so important. Because I think anytime any one of my friends is like, oh, I have this idea, I'm like, oh, let's hear it. Like, even if I don't think it's going to work out, I want to at least give space for people to talk about it, because maybe it's not a product for me, maybe it's not a business for me, but just to help people talk through these ideas and just know that they have power, they have purpose, they're intelligent beings. Like, I think the more that we can affirm other people's just natural creative thought, the more that we can push people to grow into the fullest version of themselves. So whether you're out there thinking about starting your own business, whether you want to start your own book, start your own podcast, plot it out, outline it, draw something out, talk to a friend about it, talk to your parent about it, sibling, friend, whoever, and just see what happens. I think that the best thing you can do for yourself is give yourself a chance. So want to thank y'all both for sharing those nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And also, last thing, like, once you do, who's for you is for you, and who's not for you is not for you. And that's A-okay. Like, that is A-okay. Just continue to be yourself, and the people that rock with your true self and what you're really doing are going to come, and it's going to feel even better. I promise.
there's that adulting in action nugget of wisdom. She turned into the adulting in action voice.
Yes.
I heard it.
Stop.
we be getting deep on there, y'all, for real.
I can't.
Adults in action is deep.
Yeah, we do. We getting deep out there. The last thing that I'll say is that, or at least one last thing I wanted to mention was you also have to tell people how to support you too. I think that sometimes when you see the success of people who have these millions of TikTok followers and whatnot, they post whatever and they get the support. That's not going to happen for everybody. That's not going to happen for you. You have to sometimes start out by telling people like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is the support I need. Can you do it? Some people are going to be able to, some people aren't going to be able to, but you have to ask those questions. And sometimes it's going to come from people that you may not have the closest connections with, but they're the first people that want to support you. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, just wishing the best for everybody listening to this podcast. I know that we had a lot of nuggets of wisdom. I don't know if y'all want to do the 4 deep pod ranking of how deep we got with the business, with the business nuggets.
Yes.
I think this was a good 3 deep.
Yeah, we got 3 deep. I think for me it was a little bit 3.5 because I was just sitting here like, yeah, like, we're just surrounded by so many, just great people, and just hearing like all these affirmations, but just also just how, look at what we're doing. Like,
Yeah,
Kyler, you got a podcast. Like, come on, what? And we're just doing so many great things, and sometimes it gets overwhelming because it's just like I'm just so happy and proud, not only to be in this space, but to know y'all. Like, I can really say like I know y'all, not like just like, oh yeah, I know like I know Kyler, okay, that's my dog, I got his number, okay. Like, it just feels so good to have y'all in my life. And yeah, so it got real deep today, and I'm just so grateful for this space. And anybody's listening, like, I hope you feel grateful, like, to be able to soak this all in and take it in. And again, like, if you ever need any advice, if you ever have any questions, if you want to run something by, whatever, like, I'm here. Don't want to put y'all out there, but I'm pretty sure y'all are here too. To just give that and be that support system if you need help, if you just need a little extra nudge to keep going. So yeah, we got pretty deep on here. I'm so happy that we were able to do this.
Yeah, Kylie, what would you give it?
Y'all said 3 or 3.5. I was thinking 2 or 2.5. I think we could have went deeper.
Okay.
I'll say a 2.5 so we can average at a 3 though. I'll say
okay.
Overall, it was 3 deep. Okay, yes.
Yes, and giving y'all flowers. Y'all are both amazing. So thank you.
Yes, y'all are dope individuals. We'll save the 3.5 4 deep for when I get invited to 4 deep pod. How about
that?
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get real deep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Right. That's gonna break the scale.
Hey, well, it'll be 5 people on the call, so maybe we get 5 deep that day. Who knows?
Who knows? You know what?
Thinking
your
big.
mind. You thinking big.
Okay.
Hey, I'm an MBA now. I gotta think big.
Okay, right. Just got a little masters or whatever. Right.
A little masters is cute or whatever. Oh, y'all are dope. But want to thank y'all both for saying yes a second time to being on this podcast. I definitely feel like over the last 4 months since y'all both first got on this podcast, feel like our friendship has blossomed into a nice virtual podcast friendship, but it's dope. I feel like I got to know a lot about y'all over the last few months, and just happy to be able to share space with y'all, chop it up with y'all, get to know y'all's journey. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how y'all grow, looking forward to seeing how the podcast grows. For the listeners, I shouldn't even have to ask for the 5-star rating after this episode. Y'all should already just thumbs in action. Like, y'all should be giving a 5-star rating. But make sure y'all follow the IG at Banquet Hall Pod. The Banquet Hall is designed for people who are tired of waiting for a seat at the table. So we decided to create our own Banquet Hall. We built our own shit. So thank y'all for listening.
I love that.
I appreciate that. It's the branding. Thank y'all for listening, and we'll catch y'all next episode. Happy Women's History Month, and y'all have a blessed one.
Peace.